The path to individuation, unveiling and harmonizing the hidden self in Jungian thought, the depths of the human psyche lies a profound journey toward wholeness, a process Carl Jung termed individuation. This is not merely personal growth, but a transformative quest to reconcile the conscious and unconscious aspects of the self, forging a unified identity that embraces all facets of one's being. At the heart of this journey is the self, which Jung envisioned as the archetype of totality, the complete mosaic of who we are, encompassing both the light of awareness and the obscured realms below. Born on July 26, 1875, in the quaint Swiss village of Keswil, Jung grew up in a family steeped in religious and intellectual traditions. His father was a pastor, and his mother came from a line of visionaries and occult enthusiasts. These early influences sparked Jung's lifelong fascination with the mystical, leading him to explore not just psychology, but alchemy, mythology, and Eastern philosophies. Influenced by philosophers like Friedrich Nietzsche, whose concepts of the Dionysian, the raw, instinctual forces, and Apollonian, the structured, rational order mirrored Jung's exploration of inner chaos and harmony, individuation demands confronting the repressed elements that disrupt our equilibrium. Nietzsche's emphasis on overcoming societal constraints to affirm one's authentic will resonated deeply with Jung, shaping his view that true self-realization arises from integrating these primal energies rather than suppressing them. Stay with us. Perhaps the facts in this video may change your life forever. Jung's framework draws from a broader psychic structure, the personal unconscious, housing individual repressed experiences, and the collective unconscious, a shared reservoir of archetypes, inherited across humanity. Shadow, as an archetype within this collective layer, embodies not only personal dark traits like anger, jealousy, or fear, but also universal motifs of the rejected other, often projected onto myths, dreams, or cultural symbols. Yet the shadow is no villain. It safeguards untapped potentials, such as creativity or assertiveness, that society deems unacceptable. As Jung noted, failing to integrate it leads to fate-like control over our lives, where unconscious forces dictate behavior through projections or outbursts. Echoing Nietzsche's call to become who you are, Jung saw shadow integration as essential for psychological wholeness, transforming inner conflict into empowered authenticity. This idea was further enriched by Jung's encounters with Eastern thought during his travels to India in 1938, where he drew parallels between the shadow and Hindu concepts of duality in the self, like the interplay of Shiva's destructive and creative forces. Pivotal event in Jung's life that crystallized these ideas was his dramatic break with Sigmund Freud in 1913. Initially collaborators, Jung even served as president of Freud's International Psychoanalytical Association. Their rift stemmed from differing views on the unconscious. Freud emphasized sexual drives and childhood repression, while Jung advocated for a broader spiritual dimension, including archetypes and the collective unconscious. This schism plunged Jung into a period of intense psychological turmoil from Jung, 1913 to 1919, which he later documented in his enigmatic Liber Novus, or the Red Book. Filled with vivid visions, mandalas, and dialogues with inner figures, this personal grimoire became a testament to individuation, showcasing how confronting one's shadow through creative expression could lead to profound insight. Jung's near-death experience in 1944, following a heart attack, further deepened his theories. He described visions of cosmic unity, reinforcing the self as a transcendent archetype beyond the ego. To embark on this path, one must first learn to live with the shadow's energy constructively, a process Jung described as making the darkness conscious, not through denial, but mindful application. Consider repressed anger, often buried as bad. It signals violated boundaries and, when channeled, becomes a force for assertiveness, setting limits or advocating justice without destruction. Jealousy similarly reveals unfulfilled desires. Redirecting it fuels personal ambition, turning envy into motivation for growth. Even manipulative tendencies, if acknowledged, evolve into emotional intelligence for navigating relationships with empathy. Boldness, stifled in cautious individuals, emerges through small acts like voicing differing opinions or pursuing novel ideas, fostering courage without recklessness. Leadership urges, tempered by humility, shift from ego-driven control to compassionate guidance. This integration isn't reckless expression, but a balanced harnessing where the shadow's vitality enriches life. As one source on Jungian psychology highlights, this step renders the shadow more human or less scary, alleviating its grip and unveiling hidden strengths like creativity and confidence. Jung himself exemplified this in his later years at his Bolingen Tower retreat, where he carved stones and painted mandalas to integrate his inner world, symbolizing the self's wholeness. Building this harmony requires direct engagement with the shadow, a technique Jung called active imagination. Here, the unconscious is personified and conversed with, allowing it to reveal its wisdom. In a quiet space, visualize the shadow as a figure, animal, or abstract form and pose, gentle inquiries. What protects you within me? Or what truth do you hold? Responses may surface as emotions, memories, or insights, like realizing buried anger stems from neglected needs. Is key, no judgment or correction. Just listening fosters trust. This dialogue uncovers the shadow's protective intent, fear, shielding from harm. Jealousy, highlighting aspirations, transforming adversaries into allies. Influenced by Nietzsche's introspective dives into the abyss, Jung viewed this as illuminating. One's inner light through confrontation, bridging ego and shadow for deeper self-understanding. Jung's own active imagination practices during his confrontation with the unconscious. Period-produced archetypes like Philemon, a wise old man figure who guided him, illustrating how such dialogues can access the collective unconscious. Tracing. The shadow's roots often leads back to childhood, where societal and familial edicts first deem parts of us not okay. Freud, whom Jung both admired and diverged from, echoed this in asserting the child as father of the man, underscoring how early wounds shape adult struggles. Repression begins innocently hiding emotions to avoid ridicule or punishment forming. Habits that persist, subtly influencing decisions and self-perception. Reflect. When did this trait first feel unacceptable? Who imposed that judgment? Why conceal it for protection? This gentle inquiry demystifies the shadow's origins, revealing it as a survival mechanism, not inherent flaw. By understanding these formative moments, one loosens their hold, paving the way for freedom and trust in one's authentic self. Marked by loneliness and vivid dreams, including a phallic vision in a basement that haunted him, profoundly influenced this concept. As he later interpreted such experiences as encounters with the collective unconscious, acceptance follows awareness. A terrifying yet liberating act, as Jung proclaimed, the most terrifying thing is to accept oneself completely, conditioned. To display only the good, polite, confident, unselfish, we instinctively reject darker impulses. Yet this fragments the psyche. The shadow, craving recognition, isn't an enemy, but a neglected aspect yearning for integration. Approach it kindly, perhaps through a letter. I see your insecurity, your need for validation. It's human, and you belong. Without fixing or shaming. This fosters compassion, diminishing the shadow's covert influence. As wholeness emerges, guilt fades, replaced by genuine self-embrace. This step aligns with Jung's animus archetypes, the inner feminine anima, in men and masculine animus in women, which often reside in the shadow and must be accepted for balanced individuation. Drawing from alchemical traditions where opposites unite. Finally, unearthing the shadow demands vigilance for its manifestations. It lurks in projections, irritation at others' flaws, mirroring our disowned traits. Like annoyance at show-offs, betraying hidden desires for recognition. Triggers, overreactions, or judgments signal its presence. Query: why this reaction? What denied part of me resonates? Dreams offer clues, with shadowy figures symbolizing the unconscious. A shadow journal captures reactive moments, hurt, envy, anger, uncovering patterns over time. Envision a headline exposing your worst traits: selfish, needy, lazy too. Confront them honestly. Even positive qualities, like sensitivity repressed in youth, reside here. As Jung warned, the unacknowledged unconscious directs life as fate. Spotting it shifts control, initiating true growth. Relatedly, Jung's concept of synchronicity, meaningful coincidences beyond causality, can aid identification as external events mirror inner shadows. An idea inspired by his collaboration with physicist Wolfgang Pauli through this reoriented lens, beginning with integration's promise and winding back to identification. Jung's shadow work, enriched by Nietzsche's philosophical vigor, Freud's developmental insights, and the psyche's archetypal depths, guides us toward individuation. It's not perfection, but wholeness, where the persona's mask yields to the self's full radiance, harmonizing light and dark in authentic existence. Today, these ideas influence fields from psychotherapy to storytelling, as seen in Joseph Campbell's Hero's Journey, which echoes Jung's archetypes in modern myths like Star Wars. Jung's legacy, enduring until his death in 1961, reminds us that embracing the unknown within leads to a richer, more meaningful life. Did this video add anything new to your knowledge? Click the like button and tell us in the comments which part of the video and which piece of information you liked and were curious about. If you aren't subscribed to Edgelosophy channel, subscribe now, as we delve deeper than others dare.